The regional consultation, I'm sorry, it says Asia Pacific, you should say Arab states, will have three objectives, basically past, present, and future. The past is to look at best practices and innovations for the implementation of the recommendation over the first 5 years of its implementation. To share the present is to share also the briefs on the implementation of the guidelines, and to present the outcome document for the Third World OER Congress that will focus on the recommendation, how the recommendation can optimize openly licensed content to meet the challenges and opportunities of emerging technologies and AI. The outcome of this event will be an outcome document of the event of the regional consultation will be to ensure that regional needs and initiatives implement into the discussions of the upcoming Congress, and also look at links between the UN Secretary General's roadmap for digital cooperation and regional activities. As Dr. Khalid outlined, the recommendation is a normative instrument. It was adopted by member states in 2019. I would encourage you to go to the UNESCO website. You can have the text in Arabic, in Spanish, in Russian, in Chinese, in English, and French, all the UN languages. The easiest way to find it, the easiest way, quite frankly, is to go through Google and just type in the name of the document and also the UNESCO legal instruments, and you will come to it. So what is this? Dr. Khalid pointed out the objective of it, but I really want to take the time here to really underscore the definition of OER that we're working with, because it's really very important that we are all on the same page on this. OER are learning and teaching materials in any format or medium that reside in the public domain under a copyright that's been released under an open license that permits no-cost access, reuse, repurpose, adaptation, and redistribution by others. And an open license is a license that respects intellectual copyright, as Dr. Khalid outlined in his presentation, and gives permissions to reuse, repurpose, adapt, redistribute educational materials. What it's not is a free resource on a website, because under copyright law, when there is no copyright on it, it's fully copyrighted. It's not an open resource. Therefore, legally, it's not possible to repurpose, adapt, reuse, or redistribute. Therefore, it's not an OER. The next thing that I want to outline is who is this aimed at? And you'll see a very long list on the screen. You have the educational community, you have the cultural and community, including libraries, archives, and museums, and you have intergovernmental organizations and media and broadcasting groups. So this is the knowledge community that it addresses. The 5 areas of the recommendation, as outlined by Dr. Khalid in his presentation, are on the screen now. Capacity building, we're really talking about being able to OER, to be able to, the skills necessary to create, access, reuse, redistribute OER. Another area that's outlined here is openly licensed tools and platforms, interoperation and metadata and standards, as well as understanding the added value of OER. In terms of policy, procurement models to reflect open licensing, so procurement models that support openly licensed learning content, incentives for professional development and use and recreation and sharing of OER. And then there's a point of alignment with other open licensing policies, for example, for open data, for open science, for free and open source software. So a link between the different policies of an institution or government in these areas. And there is the issue of data protection and privacy. The third one is on quality, multilingual, inclusive OER. So this is about multilingualism, of course, about accessibility to persons with disabilities, support to infrastructure, to support offline use of OER, and quality assurance to ensure that OER is a same, if not better quality than fully licensed educational materials. Sustainability, we can summarize to say that it's basically the idea that the costs of the teaching and learning materials are not shouldered by the teacher and learner, but another business model is put in place. International cooperation is interregional, intersectoral, interinstitutional, basically cooperation on all of the first four areas which I just presented. We have put into place the UNESCO OER Dynamic Coalition, which my colleagues will put into the chat, the link to. And this is a group. We have some 800 people now worldwide who are sharing information on different OER initiatives worldwide, and also looking for mechanisms to collaborate on different activities. There is a monthly update where information is shared, and there's an OER Dynamic Coalition portal. Why? What's the point? The point is that this is an international normative framework. It is agreed upon by the governments as a point that needs to be taken seriously in national policy. It also provides a sustainable ecosystem in terms of content, platforms, and policies in order to make the implementation of this commitment possible. We had the first consultation, I'm sorry, there are 10 reports here, it should be 10. We had the first consultation of the recommendation, of which there were 10 countries in the Arab States region which responded before the deadline. And as you can see, the breakdown regionally. In terms of capacity building, 70% of the respondents spoke of awareness raising activities, 80% of capacity building activities that have been held, as well as 80% of national institutional work, either undertaken or foreseen in no OER repositories, 70% on capacity building interventions to develop OER repositories and tools. In terms of policy, some 60%, I'm sorry, I said that actions have been taken that foresee that educational resources developed using public funds are available as OER. 50% that OER policies have been embedded into national policies and strategies with other open policies. 60% guiding principles have developed guiding principles with regard to privacy and data. 80% of the respondents reported that there was OER in national languages. This is quite high. 60% reported that OER is available in low and no connectivity context. 80% that it's contextualized to social, economic, cultural context. 60% spoke of quality assurance criteria, which was either available or being developed. And 70% spoke of research and studies on OER development at national or institutional level. 60% spoke of sustainability models, and 50% of mechanisms to encourage feedback from stakeholders for the improvement of OER. So as you can see, a great deal of progress has been done in the Arab States region in this area. Now we're holding the third UNESCO World OER Congress in less than a month now. And the objectives of this Congress are to, again, past, present, and future, to look at the work done in the last 5 years since its adoption, to look at strategies for the implementation of the recommendation in the future with regard to AI and emerging technologies and how this can be harnessed, and to identify collaborative mechanisms to mobilize more stakeholders to implement the OER recommendation in light of the Global Digital Compact. We are now developing an outcome document. It's open for consultation, and we'll share the link with you. And my colleague Javiera will go through the main concepts of this document in the next presentation. And the objective of this document is to look at how openly licensed content can meet the challenges of emerging technologies and AI. We have, on your screen, you have a QR code if you'd like to register for this event. Again, it's here. And we'll put the link into the chat also. Just one more point that we were talking about digital public goods. So digital public goods is as defined by the UN Secretary General, and it refers to open source software, open data, open standards, and open content that adhere to privacy and other applicable international domestic laws and standards. And OER is by definition a digital public good. We're also referring in the discussion to the report of the Secretary General, which was discussed at the Summit of the Future, and the need to improve digital cooperation and the digital commons as a global public good. So just to give you some idea of how it fits into the overall intergovernmental strategies. We welcome you. We look forward to welcoming you to the upcoming event in Dubai. The QR code and address are on the slide, and my colleagues will put it into the chat also. Thank you very much. Thank you very much